We'll start with the terrifying ones and move up to the absolute hellish nightmares. Number 7. The Burning Ice Planet. Gliese 436b is one of the most nonsensical places in the cosmos. It's a hot Neptune 4 times the size of Earth. But what really ruins your day is its surface. It's covered in ice at over 425 degrees Celsius, 800 degrees Fahrenheit. I know, your brain just hit a 404 error, but don't worry, luckily for you, I can read, so let me explain this freak of nature. This ice doesn't exist because it's cold. It exists because the atmospheric pressure is so brutal, it crushes water molecules into a solid state, even while they are literally on fire. To make this more fun, let's toss you in there. Imagine you're in your shiny new spaceship entering Gliese 436b's atmosphere. Terrible life choice. Instantly, the ship starts warping like butter on a grill, courtesy of an atmosphere saturated with scorching helium and hydrogen. Within 30 seconds, either the pressure turns your ship into a crushed soda can, or the heat vaporizes everything. Estimated survival? 30 to 90 seconds. But let's pretend you have an indestructible ship and you've landed. The moment you step out, every drop of moisture in your body boils and explodes into steam. Game over. Let's try again with an indestructible spacesuit. As you step onto the burning ice, your suit vibrates from violent winds under a blood red and black sky. Massive lightning storms light up the chaos around you. Honestly, it's a fairly relaxing experience compared to what's coming next on the list. Number 6. The Terrifying Gas Giant. HD 8066b is a gas giant with an orbit so elongated it spends half its time in the frozen void and the other half practically licking its star. The horror here is the speed of the shift. Temperatures jump from 230 degrees Celsius to over 1100 degrees Celsius, or 450 to 2000 degrees Fahrenheit, in just 6 hours. For those who don't speak physics, 230 degrees Celsius cooks a perfect pizza. 1100 degrees Celsius turns the pizza, the oven, and the chef into carbon gas. Let's start the simulation. You're back in a modern ship and decide to enter the atmosphere during the heat spike. Brilliant. The moment you hit the atmosphere, the gravity of the planet pulls you so hard you accelerate like a stray rocket. The outside of the ship hits 3,800 degrees Celsius, eating through your heat shield like it's wet paper. At 30 seconds, you're hitting jet streams that make Earth hurricanes look like ceiling fans. At 60 seconds, the hull implodes under the pressure. Congrats, you lost it a full minute, a new personal record for suffering. But let's say you bought Bitcoin at 10 cents and got an indestructible ship. If you opened the hatch without gear, you'd be crushed into pulp and vaporized in a metallic ocean in a millisecond. If you wore a NASA suit, same result, just fancy packaged pulp. Now with an indestructible suit, you step out and instantly lose your ship in a glowing, misty abyss. No up, no down, just suspended in an endless void while electric currents fry what's left of your sanity. It's like being trapped in a video game water level, but forever and without a quit button. Number 5. The Disappearing Planet. Korot 7b is a super-Earth 70% larger than our world, but it has a slight proximity issue. It's 60 times closer to its sun than we are to ours. It's tidally locked, meaning one side is a permanent lava ocean and the other is a dark, rocky hellscape. At 2,000 degrees Celsius, 3,600 degrees Fahrenheit, the surface is literally evaporating into space. The planet is shrinking because it's sweating rocks. Let's test your luck. Enter the atmosphere in your state-of-the-art ship and the heat shield hits 3,800 degrees Celsius instantly. By 20 seconds, the hull cracks and the insulation fails, turning the interior into an oven that roasts you alive before you can even apologize to your mother. By 45 seconds, both you and the ship are vapor. But since you're stubborn and bought the indestructible ship, you manage to land. Open the hatch without a suit and your eyes, skin, and internal organs vaporize so fast your nervous system doesn't even have time to register the pain. Round 2, indestructible spacesuit. Step out and you're instantly blinded because the sun here looks 360 times larger than it does from Earth. You could technically walk on the lava ocean, but because molten rock is so dense, it would be like trekking through boiling tar that clings to your boots, a leg day you'd never return from. And if you tried the dark side, sure, the ground is solid, but you'd spend the whole time being tossed hundreds of feet into the air by violent winds. It's basically a permanent free-fall simulator, but with rocks. Number 4, WASP-127b. This gas giant is what happens when the universe decides to turn a planet into a massive industrial fan. It's 15 times the size of Earth and holds the record for the strongest winds ever recorded. For context, on Earth, 400 km/h winds toss you around like a leaf. On Neptune, winds hit 2,400 km/h or 1,500 miles per hour, which would turn you into a human mist on impact. But WASP-127b laughs at that. It has wind speeds of over 33,000 km/h or 20,500 miles per hour. That's 27 times the speed of sound. Let's run the simulation. You try to enter the atmosphere in a modern ship. Spoiler, it ends poorly. Between 5 and 10 seconds, your heat shield is shredded by the thick, metal-rich atmosphere. By 15 seconds, the ship and everything inside are ripped apart and swept away by the jet stream. Your body isn't just destroyed, it's unraveled and absorbed into the winds so completely it's as if the universe hit the delete key on your life. But just for kicks, let's say you're a billionaire storm chaser with an indestructible ship and an indestructible spacesuit. The moment you step out, you're gone. The suit would stay intact, but inside, the extreme G-forces would be so violent they'd strip your soft tissue right off your bones. Basically, you'd become a human smoothie inside an indestructible metal can. Clearly, the spacesuit's design department needs to be fired. Number 3, the Iron Rain Furnace. WASP-76b is a gas giant that makes Dante's Inferno look like a ski resort. It's nearly twice the size of Jupiter and so close to its star that one side is a permanent barbecue. The other side, a nightmare landscape lit only by molten iron rain. Yes, you read that right. It doesn't rain water here, it rains liquid metal at boiling temperatures. Survival test? You enter the atmosphere in your modern ship. At 3 seconds, the iron vapor in the air eats your heat shield like it's wet paper. At 10 seconds, the ship melts and so do you. By 20 seconds, you're just a trail of vapor swept away by 16,000 km/h, 10,000 miles per hour winds. But what if I skydive? In a fraction of a second, you're incinerated. What if I jump on the dark side? Your skin burns, your lungs collapse under the pressure, and as your corpse is tossed through the sky, the molten iron rain finishes the job by searing your remains. Now for my favorite adrenaline junkie in an indestructible suit. You jump. The fall starts in a psychedelic orange haze until supersonic winds turn you into a human ragdoll. The sound is a constant hurricane roar. Lightning streaks across the sky, revealing metallic clouds and iron rain falling as far as the eye can see. As you sink deeper, the light fades and you're submerged in an ocean of metallic hydrogen. Your final destination? The planet's core, trapped forever in a glowing fog of superheated matter. At least you don't need an umbrella. Enjoying it so far? Then subscribe. Continuing. Number 2, the planet being eaten alive. WASP-12b is the definition of a really bad day in space. It's a deformed gas giant, almost 22 times the size of Earth, and it's in a death spiral with its star. Yes, it's literally being devoured, with a visible stream of gas feeding the star like a giant snake swallowing its prey. One side, infernal radiation and heat. The other side, infernal radiation and heat, but dark. There's no escape here. Let's test your courage. You enter the atmosphere on the ugly, deformed side. Surprisingly, you're still pulled towards the planet, as its gravitational pull is stronger at that distance. In seconds, your ship's heat shield glows like an ember, and the internal temperature skyrockets. At 5 to 20 seconds, 1,600 kilometers per hour, 1,000 miles per hour, winds rip the shielding apart. At 20 to 60 seconds, the ship and you are utterly consumed, torn into molten debris as the metal liquefies before everything eventually vaporizes, leaving no trace of your existence. But since we're scientists and sadists, let's try something more fun. You activate the indestructible ship's secret code and decide to hover right in the middle between the planet and its star to see who claims you. Where would you go? Place your bets. Pause for bets. Yep, you're going towards the star. Obviously, that should have been very, very obvious. Okay, let's up the ante. This time, you're just in a lightweight, indestructible space chute. Where would you go then? Place your bets again. Pause for more bets. Yes, sweetheart, towards the star again. Seriously, you should have gotten that by now. The star's gravity always wins. Number 1, the Glass Storm Planet. HD 189733b is a place so vile it makes any horror movie look like a rom-com. It's massive, about 15 times the size of Earth, and from space, it's stunning. It looks like a giant version of Earth, with deep blue oceans suggesting tropical beaches. But don't be fooled, it's the ultimate expectation versus reality scam in the cosmos. Final simulation. You enter the atmosphere in your modern ship, thinking you're on vacation. Terrible idea. At 5 seconds, your heat shield starts melting like ice cream in the sun. At 10 seconds, supersonic winds slam into the ship while molten glass particles in the atmosphere shred the hull like paper. By 30 seconds, you and the ship's remains are vaporized and scattered by the wind. This planet has no water. It's made of hydrogen and helium at a cozy 1200 degrees Celsius or 2200 degrees Fahrenheit. The winds are so fast that it rains molten glass sideways. Imagine thousands of liquid crystal knives flying at 7 times the speed of sound. And why is it blue? It's not water. It's the silicate particles, glass, in the atmosphere scattering blue light. It's a perfect visual trap. Just like every other gas giant, the ending is the same. Instant vaporization followed by an eternity floating in dark metallic oceans. Honestly, I hate this planet. That's all for today. I'll be making similar videos in the future. Subscribe to see them.